broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 256 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, with co-host Zach Carlson. This is your weekly dose, no it's not, sometimes dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. I even took that out and I'm still saying it. Hey, Zach, what's up?
Oh, not too much. How's it going?
Slightly heat-stroked, sunburnt all over. No, I wasn't fishing. No, I wasn't at the beach. This is the joys of homesteading life, of planting your garden, mowing the acres and acres of weeds and thistles and, God forbidden, everything that grows out here. Fun, all fun.
That's why you had so many children. You just send them out to do all those chores.
Oh, man. If only. They're getting there a little bit, but still a lot they can't do to my, I don't know. I'm super picky. I hate how everyone else does everything, especially the older I get.
Yeah, I definitely am right there with you. But at some point, I've learned, managing a team of people, you just kind of have to hope for the same end result and let people get there how they get there.
Yeah, I have issues with everything. So,
and you're an employer. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, I'm only on the third employee in the last 3 months or so. So, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you're the problem.
What? Me?
Oh, yeah. There's a common denominator through all these things, huh?
Maybe. So yeah, planted a bunch of stuff, and we'll see what the chickens do with it. Because, yeah. The chickens were out there digging it up, eating seeds as I was planting. I'm like,
do you not have a little kind of chicken wire fence around it or anything?
We actually do in the other garden. So we kind of have two gardens. One is vegetables, so cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots, all the classic garden vegetables. They're in the one garden. And then this other garden is more the vines, so zucchini and yellow squash, green squash, winter squash, and then we have some Indian corn, and then other areas back here we
can't say that anymore.
Oh, Native American corn. I mean, it was just corn back in the day, right? I don't know why
I think they go by maize.
I don't know why the Indians claimed it. Anyways, so hey, we can still say Indians out here. This is a Sioux Nation. This part of South Dakota is a Sioux Nation, man. So anyways, so then we got pumpkins and watermelon and other stuff. Cool stuff that if the chickens don't eat it first, it'll be neat. Planted way more this year than we did last year. And last year I probably told the story about how I planted the whole garden and the chickens immediately ate it all. So they proceeded to try to do that this time, and roosters attacking me and everything. I'm chasing them off. And so I finally get the kids out there to help me. And I had bought this, I don't know, they call it deer netting. You can throw it over fruit trees and stuff to keep deer off of it or birds off of it. So I planted everything else and then put this netting down and put bricks and fence posts and stuff over it. And so the chickens will still walk over the netting, but they can't use their feet. Their feet are their hands, that's how they dig into the stuff and find food and worms and stuff. And so now they can't, dig to find the seeds I planted. So hopefully, knock on wood, that's going to be a good solution here until the plants come up. As soon as the plants are up, they really don't mess with them too much. They're meh, it's a plant.
Well, how long does that take from the time of seed time to plant to that little sprout?
Well, I mean, it depends how much rain you get. It depends on the variety of the seed. Some things are 7 days, some things are 15 days. So it can really vary, but
you don't water the garden yourself?
I mean, I will if we go, a long period without rain, but, or if stuff gets wilty, I'll water it, but I don't know. It's a lot of work dragging the hose out there and everything.
Yeah, I guess if I was doing a homestead style garden, I think I would do like a full on irrigation system, like where where we bought our plants for our backyard. They you could see everything was wired in, where to keep everything alive until he could sell it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to get like a hoop house or something some days to maybe start things in seeds and trays in a controlled environment that's easy to, we can have automatic watering and everything then, but it's just harder to do. It's a ways away from the hydrant and stuff. Although I have thought about rigging up like a temporary, I have like 900 feet or no, like 1,800 feet of PEX pipe.
Yeah, we were talking about this last time, I think.
I think we talked about it after the show.
Oh.
I bought like 1,000 of each color, of PEX for the house, redoing the house, and I redid the house, and I still have like 900 feet of each color of PEX left, or 800, I don't know. I'm not going to measure it.
You sound like Darren from My Script Garage. I don't know.
We're just not going to think about that.
We're going to pretend we didn't see this.
So anyways, I got all this PEX, but, I thought you could, set up a system where you throw it out and then just bring it in when you're, done with it, blow the lines out with air and put it away for the winter. But, that's a lot of work too. Like all this cutesy homesteading stuff that you see on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere. It's like, do these people not have jobs? I'm like, it's just so much work to it.
Well, I don't think things would live here if it wasn't watered. Like if you don't water your lawn here, it'll just be a brown, dry mess. Like it will not, there's not enough rain to support that.
Well, and here we get a lot less rain than we did where we were at in Illinois. Like you get about halfway across Iowa going towards Illinois, and you like the yearly rainfall almost doubles in amount, like from there all the way through really to the East Coast, I think. So like this half of the Midwest is really a lot more arid. We are still kinda in the Missouri River Valley here, so we get a little more rain than other parts of South Dakota close to us, and definitely the other side of the state we get more rain. Yeah, I mean there's definitely times when we have to water and everything.
So you just, since this is a gun show, you just didn't shoot the gun in the air to scare the chickens away?
No, I did have, we have two roosters and one attacked me, and like when he does that, I just all out kick him and teach him who's boss and everything, and try to shove his head down to the ground, because I think that's what they do to each other to assert dominance, and
I think you have to show him your penis.
No, I'm pretty sure no.
I don't know. It's always worked for me.
I don't know. Then we'd have like a cockfight situation.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that went downhill quick. Thanks. So I kicked this rooster a couple times, and this other rooster swoops in and defends my honor and kicks his butt. So homestead segment over, gardens in. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. That's what I don't get. When I think about a garden, Ashley would say, let's put in a garden or something. I'm like, hey, I don't want to eat that many tomatoes or cucumbers or any of those things. I don't love any vegetable enough to eat enough that comes off of any decent sized garden.
I mean, it is true. You end up with way too much too then. But our thinking, and it's really great, the whole pandemic and everything is really, at least with my wife, has really made her much more aware of how, what if things really do go bad? How self-reliant can we be? And so I think it's all a really good exercise more than anything for us to practice these things and do some of these things. Sure, we could do a lot more. We could do less. I don't know, is what it is. But it teaches our kids, where, a lot of food comes from. And if we really had to, since we do it every year, we could save seeds and really expand the gardens and everything if, Third World War breaks out or something.
That's almost a whole full-time job in itself.
Well, I mean, the EMP happens, and then, what else do you have to do?
Well, work on all your boxes, probably, like get one of those running.
Well, yeah, I've got 2 that are possibly EMP compliant. Maybe 3.
EMP resistant.
Maybe 3. Yeah, the diesel Tornado. I actually drove the diesel Tornado up to the shop and back Saturday. Charging system wasn't working, leaking coolant, and, it's great. I love watching Vice Grip Garage and these other shows because it gives me the confidence to take off in these cars. Just be like,
no regard for your safety.
It'll be fine. I'm like, look, I even have a fire extinguisher in the back seat from last year, so I'm good to go. And
you watch like Roadkill and all them, and you think, oh, they're really roughing it, but like they have a chase vehicle,
right,
that has all their tools in it. I don't think Derek does. I think he's pretty much solo.
No,
maybe his wife's with him. I don't know. Maybe it's all an illusion.
I think he's solo when he like went and got the
the Independence Chevelle.
Yeah, the Independence Chevelle. Like, man, that thing looks so sketchy. Like, I really didn't think he was going to drive that home because the way he was talking about it. And then he starts putting duct tape on the frame and
and he drives him home in the cold with no heaters or anything.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Anyways, so you bought something. You bought a new. Did we do the sponsor segment? Did I skip?
No, go for your sponsor segment.
Okay, so Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. We have the Patch of the Month Club. Awesome patches, awesome artwork cards, stickers, whole set you get in your mailbox every month. Unique designs you can only get via the Patch of the Month Club. You can subscribe at patriotpatch.co. Check out all the other awesome patches, signs, t-shirts, cleaning mats, patch panels, everything else at patriotpatch.co. And we also can do custom patches for your company, for your business, for your, maybe, I don't know, is there going to be a SHOT Show this year? Just next year?
We just signed a contract, so I think so.
Oh, well, okay. Well, as long as they hold off that COVID-20, it might be good to go. So, yeah, if you need any cool, even machine gun shoots, any cool events you need custom patches for, let us know. patriotpatch.co. All right, so
before we get to that topic, when you were talking about the pandemic and what it taught your kids and everything, I had a perfect example just today alone of what the ramifications down the line of this whole thing are. Is we're going to Alaska next week, and we don't have a ton of rain gear. Like, I'm not really outdoorsy, so like everybody in the family needed rain gear. So we went down to
you have how many sets of body armor and no
well, those are water repellent, but well, those are waterproof, but it's just around, like, your nipples would get wet, kind of thing, because it only covers so far, But we had to go to 3 stores. We went to North 40, which is kind of like a regional kind of outdoors, like a Farm and Fleet type of store. And, we got, like, my son's got his pants and coat there. And then we went to Sportsman's Warehouse, and at all these stores sell guns. And I went and looked at what they had for ammo. It was like 25-06 is all they had in any ammo whatsoever in the one store. And then Sportsman's Warehouse had a few more calibers, nothing I wanted. They did actually have a couple boxes of 5.56, but it was, I want to say $30 or $40 for 20 rounds. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying that. No thanks. I don't need it that much. And I think it was just like Winchester white box too, like just nothing special.
Right.
But then, my wife was able to get hers at that store, and then ended up having to go into REI. Have you been into an REI recently?
No.
Or at all? Ever?
No. I've been on their website. I've never been in a store.
They're very, I don't know. The store is neat, and they have good quality products there, but the whole air of the store is just pretentious is all I could say. Like,
well, yeah. So my outside looking in, and like Silicon Valley of the Northwest, Apple, Microsoft, crowd, that's like their outdoorsy store, right?
Yeah. And they're just like, buying a label. Like if you see the Patagonia from walking up on somebody, at least, they're willing to spend too much money on something. And they had like Arc'teryx there and stuff, $400. They literally had a rain jacket that looked like a garbage bag, like that thin material, nothing special that I could just see. I mean, I'm sure there's something, the reason it's made that it's that expensive. I know that it's everybody that says they use Arc'teryx loves it. I just can't see. I'd rather just get wet, I think. I don't know. I'm not like out there living like a hunting trip or something. I could see in a hunting trip when you're like you're living outside and you really need to stay dry and wick your sweat out and everything. But I was able to get a REI branded raincoat and pants they had, and it was on sale and everything else fine. But like what I was getting to was that right when you walk in the store, there's big signs everywhere that says the pandemic has been great for the outdoors, but the low inventory, sorry, basically, and everything was missing. And I mean, I did not buy the stuff I wanted to. I only found the stuff that was in stock in my size. Like that was my only choice. I had like 3 choices of things and that was it. So that's kind of crazy. And then we went to, kind of looking at all of our stuff and like, this trip you have to pack more because you're going to be out there hiking and everything. So like hiking boots and all this crap. So we're like, all right, we're looking and we needed more luggage than we thought we didn't have. We had a luggage set, but it wasn't enough to bring as much crap as we were having to bring to this. And so we went to the stores, we went to Target and I think TJ Maxx, and it was barren. Like we had a choice of one at each store, basically 1 or 2. And it was, when we bought our last set of luggage, it was just piles of luggage everywhere. And now there's just basically nothing. So I don't know what's going on. I can only assume they're going to blame the pandemic in some way, but I just thought, that's stuff that you actually tangibly see, not just that you hear about,
Well, I think China got hit way harder than anyone's ever talked about, like than any other country. I think there's millions and millions and millions more dead in China than any other country. I think they got hammered by it and they're still reeling from it. And so manufacturing is like a year, stuff's just running out because everything's like a year backed up now. Cause I went to, real quick, you mentioned raincoat, Arc'teryx and everything. And, I don't know if people remember, I think I had a guy from Sitka on here interviewed, maybe not, I don't know. Sitka at one point early on in Gun Guy Radio sent me, like before they were like a big brand that everyone, Meat Eater and everything, type of brand, I somehow they came to me or I forget. Anyways, they sent me an outer shell for, that was waterproof and everything. Totally high tech, cool, really neat. I loved it. It was great. But, it retailed for like around $500 just for the outer shell.
Jeez.
At that time, I think their stuff has come down a little bit since then. At least that was my impression. I wore it all the time, and that was back when I did the mail route and stuff, and I loved it for that. It was really great and really warm just for an outer shell. Like you could get by without layering up under it more than any other kind of outer shell I'd ever used. So it was impressive technology and everything. Fast forward to now, that coat got worn out. I think I got rid of it before we moved here because it just got disappointingly, it wore out before, I thought a $500 coat should wear out. And so that, kind of left me wanting another shell like that, a nice waterproof shell that had, all the cool, seam sealing technology and all of that. It had a good look to it too. And so a while back I was on Gander Outdoors looking at their clearance, and I came across these shells, outer shells, coats or jackets. They were clearancing out, and they were just kind of like a no-name store brand. I don't think it's their brand, but just kind of more of a cheaper brand I never heard of. I'm like, I think they normally retail a little bit over $100 or something. I got it for, I don't know, $40 or something. I was like, I'll try it. Worth trying it. And it came, I'm like, wow, this is like almost Sitka level. Oh,
nice.
Like right there. Like it even has some better features to it. It has like the, around your sleeves, it's got the inner sleeves that you can put your thumb through and expand out. Really cool. And the Sitka didn't have that. And other than that, it's like just like the Sitka for, a fourth of the price or something. So, and a lot of that is, people having all this stuff made in China and everywhere, and you can get all this clothing really high end clothing technology now done by these other brands that are cheaper brands. So, the market has completely changed since Sitka came on the scene. And I think, some of these no-name companies have kind of stolen some of their lunch. But that's something for you guys to look out there for. I mean, Sitka, I think, is a great product too. But there's also, cheaper stuff, out there now to
Well, and there was Sitka gear at Sportsman's Warehouse, and I looked at it, and I felt like such a poser though, like wearing the camo, and I'm like, I don't hunt, I don't really, I have hunted, but I'm not an active hunter, and it's like it just feels posery to me, and it's expensive. This stuff is not cheap, and. Nope. And it's funny. I was listening to the Q and Ask podcast, which is Kevin Biddingham's from Q. They do a podcast, and they interviewed the CEO of Bergara Rifles, Nate Treadaway, and I know Nate, and he was talking on they were talking about Sitka clothes, and Nate, this is a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, so like I don't think money is in his mind space really, and he's like, oh, I love Sitka when it's free, but when I have to pay for something, I don't usually go for Sitka. He goes, it's great clothing, but it's just so expensive, and it's like this guy is so well off that you'd think he would never, like, he'd just buy the best no matter what. And so it's like, man, well if he can't afford Sitka for himself, like, why would I?
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and so back to the pandemic tangent, dishwasher. So our dishwasher went out, and, we talked about, I think you replacing yours. Well, no, your dishwasher back in the day, like how you researched, and there's like different levels of Bosch and everything, and and stuff like that. And then I had researched since then, and it pretty much came down to KitchenAid or Bosch. Those are like, if you want something on the high end, that's your choices pretty much. So I get to calling around and stuff, and basically people are laughing at me. Oh, you want to get a Bosch dishwasher? Ha ha ha. and so I quickly realizing that, all the brands are really hard to get. Like even like Maytag and, brands like that, they all have store displays. Like Home Depot had like 2 dishwashers in the entire store, and they were just cheap budget crappy models, and they had everything else on the shelf. They won't sell you those shelf models because everything is direct from the manufacturer right now, because they cannot get them into the warehouses. You buy it, and then like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later, then you get it in. And I think that's true for a lot of large appliances right now. But I lucked out because the Menards here, and I hate Menards because their whole mask, they have a Nazi mask policy. They'll kick you out of their stores. That's the only store in South Dakota that does that, to my knowledge. Anyways, I found that they had one of the top of the line KitchenAids in there, and so I get there, and it's like on the shelves display model. So I get a flat cart and I wrangle it off the shelf, throw it on there. And like a guy kind of catches me doing it, and I don't know if it was his department. He's like, you need some help there? And he was pretty nice about it. I was like, oh no, I got it. Nope, good to go. And I just take off to the checkout. I'm like, someone's going to tackle me. Someone's going to tell me I can't buy this. But no, I checked.
Well, did it have the hose kits and everything?
Yeah.
You just bought
I looked inside it, had it inside it. I'm like,
oh nice. Okay.
I'm so buying this. I'm not going to let this out of my grasp. So yeah, I got a great KitchenAid display model that they weren't supposed to sell. And yeah, sometimes you just have to, drag it home and kill it, like Dave Ramsey says.
Yeah. I mean, I had to do that with a vacuum cleaner at Walmart once, where the guy did not want to sell me the display model. And I was like, wait, you can't or you won't? Because I'm hearing you won't sell this to me, and you're telling me you can't. And I was like, you can. All you got to do is ring it up and we'll be on our way. And finally relented, but
yeah. So anyways, let's get...
Should we talk about guns?
Guns, yeah. You bought something, right?
We record so infrequently now. I kind of forget when things happened, but yes, I think we talked before about, I bought a bunch of Holosuns, and they had come in, and, I bought like a 20 millimeter, like aim point style one for a rifle. That one's been fine so far. I went and test fire, it's this running joke with my buddy Dan and I that, like, I only shoot when I sight in optics. And then I sighted all these rifles, and I had like 4 or 5 ARs I sighted in. And then the next day I literally moved an optic and mount combo around because I thought in a different idea about something. So I had to swap mounts and optics around, and I had to go resight it in later. So yeah, that's when I get most of my shooting in, is optics mounting. But that one's been fine. But I bought that 509T, the Holosun square box, the closed emitter style. one, and I put that on a Glock 19 Gen 5 with a C&H plate on it, and it's good. There's definitely a difference though, because did we talk about this or not? I don't know if I remember we did, but the closed emitters have, they're like a lunchbox on top there, so they have two pieces of glass. And then the open emitter style, they just have that front face of glass open back. And when you look, I have two of the exact same G19s, same type of plates, everything. They're both Gen 5 MOS guns, identical in every way except for the trigger. And you put the two optics side by side with a 507C, which is like the regular open back, and the 509T. And you look at them side by side, and you definitely see the difference looking through two pieces of glass. It's not extreme, but it's definitely dimmed is the only way I could explain it. Like just the vision, not the dot, nothing to do with the dot itself, but the actual glass, just looking through it. While you do get a nice square view instead of the kind of D shape dome top, that's good. But so I don't know if it's any better.
So everything you're seeing on the other side of the glass is dimmer, you're saying?
Slightly. And a little bit of a tint to color too to it.
Yeah. So I wonder how much worse it is in low light side by side in a low light situation.
That's a good question. I've not shot it over in low light, but it's not bad. Like once you're shooting it, you don't really notice it. The time you notice it is when you're side by side to a different type of optic. So I think still, I haven't sold it or anything. I'm keeping it. I think the benefit of shooting in inclement weather where water can get on the gun, like if it's in a holster, that by far outweighs the color difference or tint difference.
Yeah.
Just being able to kind of windshield wiper the back glass with your thumb real quick is a huge thing. Cause like I said, I have shot in the snow. We did that CCW class in the snow, and those big fluffy flakes coming down, and it just touched right on that laser diode and just boop, and just starbursted everything. And that was so bad that the lens got wet and I couldn't even see my iron sights anymore either. So it does happen, and it can happen. I have experienced it myself. So, I see the closed emitter benefit.
That's when you grab it like a club and break that optic off and use those iron sights.
Yeah.
Like God intended.
Yeah. No kidding. That's
why you get a Chinese optic. So you can it's a breakaway. That's what they need to invent, a breakaway optic.
Yeah. What they really need is like with race car drivers with like the extra layers of plastic that you just keep ripping off, like the saran wrap,
Right.
And just pull off a clean view.
Or just a little mini windshield wiper on it.
There you go. Like the old Volvos, like the little headlight windshield wipers. A little squirter maybe to just clean off any bugs or anything that get on there.
Yep.
So, so the Holosun.
We're developing the cutting edge of the new red dot technology. I think we need to start a company.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I'm sure. I mean, it can't be any worse than like Swamp Fox or something, right? Maybe we can poach some talent from Swamp Fox and Olight. Maybe we can come up with something.
We'll be like the Swamp Pigs, or totally steal their brand into.
So that one was pretty good. And when I was playing with that 507C that I had the original version 1, I guess it was. And as I ordered all that stuff, the version 2 was in stock, the X2 or whatever. And I'm like, man, I should buy that too, just to get an updated version. So I bought another one of those and I swapped that around. And so I've got a lot of Holosuns, and I've got the Delta Point Pros, and I think I have like 6 or 7 dot guns now. And it is really nice to be able to play with them and kind of see what's what and what I like. And I do need to get an SRO. I think the SRO is probably the next one on my list, because the Delta Point Pro that I have on my P10 is probably the best for shooting, because it's just such a big window. It's clean and clear, and the glass is clear, but it's supposed to be not, super robust. So there is that. And so I do want to try the SRO to see if it's any better in that regard.
What price point is SRO at?
It's roughly the same as the RMR. So it's up there in the high 4s, I want to say.
Okay.
So it's about the same. I think it's about the same price as the RMR. I know it's probably 2 Holosuns worth. If Holosun were a unit of measure, but
they just need a quick detach. That way, one gets obscured, pop it off, pop another one on.
Yeah. Well, you could technically do that. We actually at work, we do machine Picatinny rails onto slides, and people do buy it. and then you can use like a literal like QD lever, but it's so bulky. I don't know why people do it, but they do it. So it is what it is. I did buy I think I talked about this last time, is the 43X, the Glock 43X.
Yeah.
That came in. So I got that milled, and I put a Holosun 507K on it and took that out to the range and everything. And that's pretty impressive. And this will post probably after the 27th, hopefully, because there's a media embargo on it. But I did get some new Shield S15 mags. They came out with a Gen 2 version, and I just got those in, and those are pretty nice. I haven't played with them too much yet to really comment on functionality and everything yet, but I'm hoping those are a viable option. So basically the Holosun has the 43X, I put the metal mag release in that Shield Arms sells, and then they have their metal magazines that hold 15 rounds apiece in, and you can put a +5 on it if you really want to go crazy. But going from a 10 round mag in the grip to a 15 round mag, plus the optic, plus everything else, it just seems like that's a pretty nice carry gun so far.
Yeah, cool. You're not going to go with a Elite Tactical Systems clear magazine for it?
I have some of those for my G43, my standard 43. I don't know if they make a 43X one, but
they do,
because that's the 10 round. But they're okay. They're totally fine for range use.
Right.
What I'd use them in the range a lot for is they made was it 12 round like stick mags for the G43, which looks absolutely ridiculous. But if I was doing drills that needed so many rounds before you could reload or whatever, I used those on the range and they were fine, but I wouldn't trust them to carry. The Shield mags, they feel fine. The only downside that I see is they're kind of like the Magpul where they have the side windows every 5 rounds instead of the individual rounds in the back, the little witness marks on the back.
Yeah.
If you're that type of guy that drops it and looks at for brass on each round, then they're probably not going to work great for you. But for a carry gun, how often are you doing that really?
All right. What else? What else you got? Something about Daniel Defense?
Oh, I keep pulling all my ARs out of the safe and looking at them and lusting at them and, dry firing them and playing with them and everything, but I don't want to shoot them because I have no freaking ammo to replace it right now. And I just want a Mark 18 so bad, but I don't know why. It's for people that don't know, a Mark 18 is it's actual quad rail, like a full-on Picatinny rail, like old school, old school now. And it's a 10.3 inch barrel. I want the SBR, but it seems like nobody gets the SBRs in stock. So this is the crazy thing. I think Daniel Defense is filling their own shelves before anybody else, because with multiple distributors, I've got every Mark 18 SKU on my favorites list. So as soon as they show up, or the wish list, whatever, so you can see them, order them. That's like, no matter what color, if it's an upper only, if it's an SBR, a pistol with a law tactical folder, I've got every SKU available clicked. And I've talked to the reps and, hey, when do you see in allocations? When are you getting shipments from Daniel Defense? And they're like, oh, we don't see them hardly ever at all. When you go on Daniel Defense's website, it's in stock every so often. I've seen the Mark 18 pistol in black and FDE come into stock twice in the last 2 weeks.
Really?
For more than a day's worth. But it's just, it's a lot of money. It's almost $2,000. And, distributor price is less than that. So I hate to pay full retail if I don't have to, but, I don't know. I don't know if I should get it. I mean, I look at it, it's such a stupid thing though, because I have a Knight's Armament rifle. I have, I think 4 PWS rifles and pistols. They're all super high end, super great. Like, what am I going to do with that I'm not going to do with anything else? The only thing I like about it is it's a 10.3 versus my shortest one beyond that is 11.8 inches. But really, that's not a huge thing. But I just don't know. I like the look of it, but I don't know. It's one of those things I just keep lusting after. I don't know if I should buy one or not, or if anybody's got one.
You're going to buy one. You are.
Yeah, well, but I need to buy one with new capital instead of selling a gun to buy that one, because then I won't have as much regret. Like if I buy it and I love it, then I can say, okay, which one do I want to sacrifice to refill the coffer, instead of selling one ahead of time, hoping that I like the Mark 18 better. And then what if I get it and I don't like it better? Then what?
Then you'll just sell it and buy something else.
Yeah, I've been tempted to sell the Knight's Armament when I saw how much they were going for on Gunbroker, but I just I don't want to be that guy.
I mean, you're the guy that you'll do this gyration, and then when 5 years later, after you've already sold it, you'll do it again.
I was about to do that with the ACOG again. I remember the ACOG I had. I've bought and sold more ACOGs than I care to admit, and this one that I have right now, I rebought off of a guy that I sold it to a guy. My buddy Dan bought it off that guy, and then he sold it back to me. So it went like a full 3-person shuffle, and I keep looking at it, I was like, well, do I really like that? Do I really like the ACOG? I should put a regular scope on this gun instead, and I don't know. I'm fighting myself now, just saying I'll just keep it. Let the mood go away. It's like dieting and having a sugar craving. You just gotta like ride it out.
Let's talk about the ATF here a little bit. There's a comment period open up here.
Yeah, the big thing with this is about the receivers, right? And how they're going to identify a receiver. This is to get rid of ghost guns. Ooh. It's essentially just trying to get rid of ghost guns. I mean, that's the biggest thing on it. When you talk to, we have an 80% out at Lone Wolf, and we've talked to all the other people selling 80s in the market, and they say that they have seen so back up one step. We assume, we knew this was coming, right? Like everybody, Biden said it a long time ago, you knew this comment period is coming. And we all assume that when people hear this, they go buy more and more and just, clean the shelves off. But I think what actually is happening is they're not. And I'm guessing, this is a total guess, but I think this has some merit, is the type of consumer that is buying 80%ers is probably a younger generation than typical gun owners. And this era of gun owner, doesn't have super long history with bans and gun control and everything. Like they weren't around for the 94 crime bill that made ARs neutered and boring and everything. And we rode it out for 10 years and it sunsetted. And that, back then, if you had an assault weapon, quote unquote, you were grandfathered in during that period. That's where the whole pre-ban, post-ban, nomenclature, applies. So the most recent history for them is probably bump stocks, right? And bump stocks were a confiscation and or destruction type of gun control type thing. And I think they might think that's what's going to happen with this 80%ers. So maybe that they're just holding off because they want to see what happens, when traditionally in any time of cries for gun control, people would buy those things so that they know that they were going to get under the wire and keep it. God, if we were just a few years older, we might have had a chance to have our parents buy us a bunch of machine guns back in the day. Right. It's such a regret. Oh man, it would have been awesome. But, that was in 86 and those were grandfathered, and then the assault weapons ban in 94, that was grandfathered. And so people just aren't doing it. So the thing that matters for this whole comment period is just to get your voice heard out there. Put the comments in. That has happened. I can't remember, was it the ammo bans? They use this comment period so often, or every so often, and they have
it was for the
retract.
The arm braces was the last one.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, they did this for the arm brace. Then they saw the public outpouring for these comments, and then they retracted for a bit. I guess that one's coming up again. So, let your voice be heard. This is not a politics thing, but just if you care about it, which you should, because anything is a negative in the grand scheme of things. Use the comment period.
Yeah, we got a link in the show notes here. Let's move on to Bud's Gun Shop. Remember Bud's Gun Shop? Like in the early internet. I mean, they've been around for 20 years now, right? Since 2003, almost 20 years.
Have you ever bought from Bud's? I think I have.
Yeah, I did back in the day. Yeah. Cause back in the day, Bud's Guns was like the place to buy it online. Like there was just like, you could hold up on one hand, like how many places you could buy guns online that were actually decent places, to get a deal, Bud's was definitely one of them back in the day. And apparently they still are. I mean, they have huge selection and they actually have stuff in stock right now.
Do they? They have ammo? I should look.
But I don't know. I don't know what made me do this, but I was like, I wonder what the, top handguns for sale right now are. So I just sorted handguns for sale, best selling on their site. And what would you guess some of the best selling handguns are?
Well, it's got to be like a SIG or a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or maybe a Ruger. A Ruger's the number one producing in America, right?
Are they still? Yeah, they may be.
I think they were. I think they are.
So
maybe not in handguns, but in guns generally.
Oh, yeah. So, of course, number one, you have the Taurus G2C, which
a Taurus.
I mean, that has to be a beautiful handgun. And then you have spot 2, 3, and 4 are all SCCYs. And I guess you asked me earlier if I ever owned an SCCY, and I have. And that must have been the period of Gun Guy Radio when you were on hiatus. Because
was it free?
It wasn't free. I bought it. I don't know where I bought it.
With like American dollars?
Yeah, I bought it.
Wow.
I bought it, and it was, I bought it for terrible, like multiple mistakes here. I bought it for the wife. Because
you bought her a gun. Oh,
I bought her a gun because I was going to SHOT. I think it was before the first time I went to SHOT Show or something, because I wanted her to have something small, not too small, but easy to shoot, not whatever. I don't know what my reasoning was. It was terrible. And the gun turned out to be pretty terrible. I thought it was pretty cool at first. I probably even said on the show I thought it was pretty cool. But I had the sights falling off this thing like every time I shot it. The sights fell off. I had them fix it. They were good about fixing it. That happened again. And then they wouldn't respond to my emails after it happened again. So, yeah. So then
is it front sight or rear sight?
Then I get the rear sight.
So the dovetails is too loose?
Both times, yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. It's got a super long trigger pull and everything. Other than that, it's really not a terrible, terrible gun, but there are a lot better. I mean, it's the same price point as a Smith & Wesson Shields, and I would highly recommend a Shield over an SCCY. But apparently they're making a ton of them because they're available for cheap.
Well, and you said it's the 2, 3, and 4 spot, but it also goes down in the 4, 8, 12th spot, and the 13, 14, 15, 16th spot, 18th spot, 20 somethings. Yeah, they're all over. Like in this top, 1 to 37, they take up 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A third of the top 37 guns are SCCY variants.
Man, they must be cranking those puppies out. They're made in Florida, I think, aren't they?
Well, I mean, hey, Florida never shut down. That's why they can make so many guns.
That's true.
Hey,
so
there we go.
We do have to say the number 5 spot is a Glock 19 Gen 5.
Yeah, Gen 5. And the Gen 3 is 3 after that.
Yeah, so I mean those are go to, and then the M&P Shield 2.0 with the dreaded thumb safety.
What's the EZ one too? It's that weird, cocker assist.
Yeah, I mean, that's a selling point for some people. I don't know. And then you get to, just after that is the Century International Arms International Inc. something. Arms. Century
International Arms Inc. International Arms TP9. Oh, S Forces. I don't know if that means special or SHITTY.
Well, I mean, these are made in Turkey, or where are these made? Century International Arms, somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know, Turkey. Let's see what it says here.
I mean, let's look up Turkish special forces. I'm sure they're great, right?
Yeah, you hear about all those wild raids, and they're the ones that got bitten on, right?
But so going back to our early years of gun owners, you and I turning 21 and everything, and buying junk at Gander Mountain at the time and stuff. So after I turned 21, the first handgun I bought, and I've said this before on the show, was a Walther P22. I
think it was mine too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was before. I mean, I didn't buy it. My parents bought it for me when I was 15 or 16.
So anyways, that I don't know why I gravitated towards that, whatever. It was probably the cheapest, most expensive gun at Gander Mountain at the time, because all the guns were ripoffs. And there really wasn't stuff like this on the market, like a budget, high speed, low drag. Like maybe Taurus had a few things back then, but other than that, there really wasn't anything on the market like some of these Turkish high-speed, pistols coming out now. But I think this is something I would have bought back then.
With the TP9?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the XDs that you bought for way too long.
Wow, that's true. Then I gravitated towards the XDs, but...
The other dumpster fire of a guy. You know what's interesting, though, is like, besides, if you take the Glocks out of this lineup, I can't find any guns that are over $600. Oh, the Walther PPK is $811. But most of the guns in this top list, are well below $600.
Oh my gosh. There's a Zastavia M70 32 ACP refurbished, and it's a top seller.
Oh yeah. Well, it's $232. That's why. I think these are mostly probably people that are buying guns that don't know about guns, and they're really just price sensitive more than anything. If I had to guess. Yeah,
because then in like the top 10 or 12, you've got the Heritage Rough Rider 22, and then the Ruger Wrangler 22, which is like Ruger's answer to the Rough Rider. But I think,
these are $129 and $199 guns. These are really inexpensive, and these SCCYs are $249, $230 guns. I mean, they're really, really inexpensive. You can get one with a red dot for $329.
Yeah,
that is insane.
So, out of all the cheap guns on here, let's say below $400, what would you buy?
In this list, under $400. I would probably buy, actually, for a carry or for actual usage, I'd probably buy the Smith & Wesson, the SD 9, because Apex makes some parts for it. It's $399, so squeaks under your $400 limit by $1, but it actually, is MP-ish. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the back straps. We had one at the office for a long time, and it shot just fine. I mean, it worked. Apex makes a trigger for it, and I think guide rods and stuff like that. So that's probably what I'd pick.
Really? I don't know that I'd
What would you pick?
Gravitate towards the... Actually, I didn't even know they still made the Smith & Wesson SD40.
Well, they have an SD9, just a couple down from there.
Oh,
Same
okay.
gun, just different caliber.
Right.
So what would you pick off this list? Off the first page?
First page. I asked that question. I didn't decide yet.
You took Glocks off the table, or you said $400 or less. Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of limits your choices. Can't even get the Century International Arms Inc. That's $531.
Well, you've got the Derringer for 151 and 38.
And it's got pearl handles on it, so you could even get two of those and be under your $400 limit.
Oh, yeah, that's true. No reloading.
But four shots, but no reloading.
Boy, I don't know. I might go with one of the Rugers on here, actually.
This EC9?
I really hate the cheaper Rugers, but they work. I mean, they work.
Just feel so chintzy.
Yeah, but they're pretty good. I mean, really, the Smith & Wesson wouldn't be bad either. At this point in my life, I wouldn't do the SCCYs. I wouldn't do the Taurus. Like some of these guns, I would even take like the Ruger Wrangler 22 over them, just because super.
As a carry gun? I thought we were talking about defensive guns. Or are you just talking about in general?
Just in general. I mean, I actually want to get a little 6-shooter like that, just for out here, like mowing the yard, shooting snakes, doing cowboy stuff,
Yeah. Okay.
So
need a horse too.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Yeah, your $400 limit is what really kind of screws you on this list.
Yeah. There's some really good guns on the list, the Glocks, the higher end Smith & Wessons. Anyways, thought it was interesting seeing what people were buying, at least in the internet realm these days. I think it's also really skewed, that list, as to just people aren't finding stuff in their local stores, and so then they stumble on Bud's Guns and get maybe what they wanted to get at their local stores or something similar. I don't know.
Well, before we move on, I think you have to click long guns and do the best selling thing too. This is more interesting. So long guns.
Oh, I mean,
this you could tell is based on availability.
This is like turkey all day long.
Yeah, this is the Emperor Firearms, which is okay. Cobra 12 gauge semi-auto shotgun. So it's an AR-15 that looks like it got melted in an oven and then is kind of gloopy gloppy. And if you squint your eyes really hard, it kind of looks like, okay, a little less hard for you. Yeah. If you squint your eyes a little bit, it looks like an AR-15, but it's not. And that's $500 for a mag-fed 12 gauge shotgun. And then you have the old Anderson, Poverty Pony, receiver, $99 receiver, which should be $39. That's what they used to go through before pandemic pricing. Yeah, a lot of shotguns. There is an M&P Sport 2, which I can give my thumbs up to that one. That is, sixth on the list, but it's $829. That used to be, when I bought my last one, it was $556, I think, $556, something like that, 600. And then,
well, dang, they got a Kel-Tec sub 2000. Is
for
that
$629
actually in stock? Like, it took a pandemic for Kel-Tec to be able to stock guns again? Like, how crazy is that?
It does say add to cart. I don't know. Do they say in stock somewhere or not say?
So it's maximum quantity too.
Well, there you go. They probably have two. There's a Colt 6920 for $12.50. That's actually not terrible. That's what they used to go for, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of shotguns if you want some shotguns. A lot of Emperor arms. I don't know who.
Oh, it's gotta be
I assume that's Turkish.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was in Austin, Texas a couple weeks ago and I needed to kill a couple hours before I got to the airport. And we went to this huge, Cabela's. I mean, gargantuan Cabela's. And I went to go look at the guns that they had and there was all these Turkish shotguns. That's all they had was basically like Turkish shotguns. And there was those, do you see the Emperor Arms pumps that are on the top row there that have those humongous iron sights on them?
Yeah.
I think it was those. But they wanted like 400 and something for those, and these are 300 it looks like here. But yeah, the ton of them. They were all like Cerakoted burnt bronze. It was very strange to see at a Cabela's.
So a Stevens single round 20 gauge is on the top list. And this is of 1,000. It says the 1,000 most relevant results. So, in the top, 30, 36 people are buying the Stevens single round 20 gauge. I assume it's just a break open.
Oh yeah. Like little partner looking ones.
Yeah. Like, wow.
Yikes. Well, it's $182. I mean, really, if you're very price conscious and you're just looking for a shotgun and you assume you can get it in one shot and be done, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. But they're also right above it is the Stevens 320, with the ghost rings and the, pistol grip stock for only $243. So it's only $60 more.
Well, Joe Biden did say just buy a shotgun, not to be political, but he is our president now, so.
Yeah.
The other funny thing on here is a used surplus Italian M91 Carcano and 6.5 by 52 car. Like, how many did they sell of these to be in the top? They're in like the top 10 here. And like, can you even buy that ammo? Like, even when there's not a pandemic?
Yeah. Well, but it comes with a bayonet, so.
Oh, you don't need ammo. Oh, yeah. Good thinking.
Well, it does say in the description, we have been told that Graf & Sons 6.5 Carcano, I'm sure we're pronouncing that wrong, ammo has been recalled due to possible overpressure. Do not use Graf & Sons ammo in this rifle. And it does not include a clip. And yes, I'm using the word clip because that's what it says here. Huh.
It'll be fine.
Oh, I just tried to search Buds to buy the ammo and the rifle at the same time, and unfortunately, they're out of stock.
Oh.
It's too bad.
Too bad. Anyways, listener email here. So Matthew Dropkill emailed or messaged something. But basically, I just want to grab this out of his long message. He said, both of you need to be careful with, it'll be okay. Or like Zach with like, we heard water type noise, but didn't think anything about it. Or, well, the water pressure is low, but just didn't think anything about it. They're all Murphy's Law experiences. Listen to that inner voice. Don't talk back to it, but listen to it. Also, especially during ammo shortage times, Well, I'll check it tomorrow, or it will be there, etc. Zach, with his Costco thing, he should have just drove straight to Costco.
Yeah, I should have just drove and then had no way to take it home. I guess where I was lost.
I think he does bring up a good point, more in the larger sense that we've probably watched way too much Vice Grip Garage, so we're always, like making light of things, and making light of serious, possibly deadly things, because it's funny. So, like, take what we say with a grain of salt, but also I thought I should touch on, like, in a self-defense situation where we're out with a family or our family or just out by ourselves, whatever, and you get, like, that spidey sense thing, like something's not right, might be your gut, might be the Holy Spirit talking to you. You should probably really pay attention to that, and I really need to, tell this to myself as well, because, we're humans. We Matthew's right. We push these thoughts down all the time because we just, think it's nonsense or think we'll look silly or something. But really, when it comes to our safety, our family's safety, we really need to be hyper aware of those thoughts, feelings, because a lot of times there's something to that.
Sure.
So anyways, thanks for messaging us, Matthew, and I got some other listener emails and stuff we need to do sometime too. So if you guys want to shoot us an email, you can reach us at gunguyradio@gmail.com, and I'm actually checking it now. Sorry again.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, sorry again, Mark, for ignoring you for months. So that about wraps us up. You can check out Patriot Patch Co. They make this show possible. Patriot Patch of the Month Club. Check out patriotpatch.co. Also, if you need awesome artwork design, even patch design, website design, check out Ryan Cross at Hunter of Design. He's very talented. Can get you your new logo, brand image, anything you need. hunterofdesign.com. And check out Zach's old YouTube videos. Maybe it'll motivate him to
funny you mentioned that. I went to go look at the YouTube studio just to see what things were there, and I have almost 4,500 subscribers now. I have no idea why. I haven't put a video out in quite a while, but maybe that's just how you get more subscribers. You just don't put content out, because then they remind, oh yeah, I don't like that guy anymore. Why do I subscribe?
No, they want to hear from you, Zach. Come on, like you could have done so many videos on optic. Just change your channel to optic swapping. That's all you gotta do. This week we're swapping a hollow sun for a hollow sun for a hollow sun. Don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. That's a wrap. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.